tonight there at IDM, and I'm here with our regular group, minus a few folks. But a little change of schedule tonight. Got a last-minute call this morning that Lordmatteus was under the weather. He is going to GM Lamentations of the Flame Princess for us and the Tower of the Stargazer, but that's going to have to start next Monday, which is, I think, the 13th. So you'll see the heads up for those on YouTube during the week, and we'll be starting Lamentations next week. But almost better than that, drum roll, we got our old friend Chubby Funster here. We still talk to him. We love him, even though he kills us every time we play. Or at least he kills me. It's nothing personal.
It was hardly any murder last time.
I'm sure it was stuff I did. I don't know. Anyway, it's always entertaining and it's fun, and I'm glad you're here to hang out with us. Also, along with Chubby here, I want to mention we have Cam joining us. If you watch Bad News Bards on Sunday nights with Death Angel Shadow, a.k.a. Jeff, Cam is his ride-along partner, his bitch on the back of the bike, his Ed McMahon. I don't know what you call him. Sorry, Cam. I guess that's maybe that's not the satisfying introduction you were looking for.
Well, I think Witless
backseat bitch.
I was going to say Witless sidekick, but
there you go. That's what I meant to say. Witless sidekick. I like that.
Maybe witness.
Witness protection program. But
I need it now.
Hey, Funner, how are you, buddy? So we're going to change it up a little tonight because Lordmatteus did give us after he was telling us all this stuff about our character sheets for the last week and really riding us pretty hard about that. It was a lot of fun. Now, of course, here we are, and he's not ready to play, but that's okay. We'll talk to Chubby. He has as many of you know, I think, a revised version of Shadow Sun, which is inspired by Dark Sun, but a different game. But specifically for Shadow Dark. Yep. We'll turn it over to him and let him kind of tell us about that. Hey, Watcher DM, Gabriel, how are you? Yeah, if I got myself killed, that's on me. That's not on any of the GMs that run on this channel.
Well, I was just telling him before we went live. I had a talk with Mike on Sunday that was recorded. He's going to drop that tomorrow, I think.
Yeah.
And then I watched all of these Lord of the Rings movies with my son, extended editions. And I started thinking about all kinds of stuff while I was watching it. And the thing that occurred to me as a way of explaining stuff, and I kind of like, you know how there's like, you know something, but you don't know how to put it into a concise way. And then you think of that method. And I just thought so the issue is not that we'd have any kind of shortage of role-playing game material out there. There's so much, it's an embarrassment of riches, right? Everybody has more than they can use. So the task going forward is not to write more stuff, just more stuff. We have to make whatever we design in a way that makes life easier for the person who's buying it, right? So it's not that Shadow Sun needs to replicate Dark Sun in any way. What it needs to do is provide an experience for the person playing it, the person running it, that is easier than running, say, second edition with a very complex rule base and all the stuff, all the lore that you're going to have to bring in and everything like that. And, you know, I use the example of Star Trek. I never got into Star Trek, and Star Trek is now so large that when I think about starting down the road of watching Star Trek, it's like, oh my God, like it's an infinite amount for me to learn. And a lot of people feel that way about some of these big settings, that there's just way too much to even start down that road. And so the design processes for Shadow Sun revisions is to make it as smooth and easy to run as the Shadow Dark system allows. That's why I think Shadow Dark is so successful. It allows people to just sit down. They can create things on the fly that they need to create. They can build whatever it is. It's fast, it's light. You don't have to memorize a whole bunch of rules. All these different factors that have gone into it. And so tapping into that and building a setting that can feel like inspired by Dark Sun, like it is, but that is not the slog that would be running Dark Sun again, right? So someone could say, okay, I want to buy into this. I want to get on this chain because it's gonna be an easier way for me to run that kind of a setting with a bleak desert setting with no metal. It's very cold. Magic corrupts, destroys things, and all that stuff. So my goal in doing all the design work is creating that light, simple, easy to use thing. That's everything we talked about on Sunday, Matt. It's like building towards that goal. Yeah.
Example I was going to throw out is you told me about the lore. Like if you get into Dark Sun, you read the lore is what 20-something pages of just lore alone
on just the ages of the world. Yeah.
And then you condense that down. I think you said 2 pages. 2 pages. You know, in true Shadow Dark fashion. 2 pages. Great. I understand what it is, and you move on.
And Dan didn't say it out loud, but he said it in the chat. The flip books were inspired in terms of managing information flow and stuff for the time and for today. Like I would love to be able to do spiral bound flip book, but doing that through the internet with production is very difficult. You'd ship somebody a book that would get crushed, and all their spine would be destroyed. I guess you could make stuff to be printed and then spiral bound by somebody at local thing or whatever, but like it's just modern production. Yeah. So Dan, show them how you have a player version and a DM version.
Yeah, you got one of each.
The player version has all this art and maps and everything for you to flip over as you go through the adventure, right? And excellent
I feel like Vanna White for
information flow. And this was right after the Hickman Revolution when they were designing these kind of narrative flow modules. So it's very, very good design. But as we talked about on Sunday, one of my goals is to move beyond just narrative experiences and having an open world that you can explore where the GM doesn't have to know everything about the whole freaking world in order to run the first session, you know? And I actually got into a back and forth with Joe the lawyer about Lost Minds of Fandelver, because I was like, just take the first 2 pages here about the Forgotten Realms and just rip them right out and throw it away. Like, you don't need that to run this adventure. And he's like, no, all this background information is important. I'm like, it's only important if somebody reads it. If they don't read it, who gives a shit?
I love Joe, but I hear that discussion and that exact not argument, but with anybody, with Joe Block, with Eric or whatever, 3 times a week. And he tells us, no, that's how I play. That's how okay, it's good. That's fine.
I know. I've heard it so many times.
I've heard it many times before I even knew you guys.
It worked for him.
He did a 40-page regional background.
I commented. Within the past hour, I left a comment on that video complaining. I was like, who's going to read 40-page setting background if you hand it to your players? Dan played his first session in my Gods of Forbidden North game this Saturday.
Yep.
And he had a 1-sentence backstory. And he had watched like a 7-minute video that was like I had made on YouTube of here's where the party is, what they're doing, going through. And I had made that just to share with YouTube audience.
Right.
And so he watched 7 minutes. He has the books. He has the thing. He's good to go. He has a short backstory. Like, we don't 40 pages. Sweet Jesus, who's going to read 40-page backstory?
Apparently they did, though, is what he said.
There weren't many distractions.
I think maybe he intimidated them or something. He strong-armed them into it.
It took me longer to figure out whose voice was whose on the Discord call than it did to figure out what city they were in and approximately where in the city they were.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, I like the idea of being oblivious to what's going on, you know. It doesn't give me any preconceived notions.
Is that a natural state or?
Well, yeah. Yeah, sometimes.
I kid.
We're looking at August, Edgelord, as a Kickstarter. People on my Patreon, I've been using my Patreon as a way to post very regular every day or 2 days updates on where we're going. And I think I dropped two updates today. and say, here's where things are, and here's a new spread. Here's a new spread. Just putting out here's 2-page spread, right across. You can see what's going on with this thing, and get feedback from people on there and go and stuff like that. I can release things that way that are kind of gatekeepered.
Yeah.
And I know that nobody's going to come in and people who are looking to steal things don't pay a Patreon value and then download things and then quit. Like it just.
Yeah, let me jump in there real quick, Chubby, on that note on the Patreon. But first, we got people jumping on here, and I just want to say change of plans tonight. Lordmatteus, yet another lawyer like Joe. We know too many lawyers. He was sick this morning, and he was going to start as GM for a new campaign for us for the first time in Lamentations, which I've only played once, and I think some of us haven't played before at all.
I've never played it.
So we had to change things up. I had just talked to Chubby yesterday, and we recorded a video that I'll drop tomorrow, kind of an in-depth look at this new Shadow Sun revision, which we'll get right back to here. I think it started with he was going to redo some maps, and now it's grown into a slightly bigger project that you're all going to really be hyped about. It's going to be a lot of fun. But the last thing I'll say, and I'll turn it back to Chubby, is I went ahead and was talking to him, and he said, yeah, I'm using my Patreon account, like he said, to kind of not play test, but to show off what I'm doing, show them what the art looks like, changes I'm considering, getting opinions, and he's using it back for feedback. I'm on a couple of Patreon channels, and most of the time there's not much. I follow people I like and friends, and I get stuff from them, but not all of them. So it's a very active Patreon account. I would suggest if you're interested, go check out Chubby's Patreon account. You'll learn a lot of good stuff, and he'll do a great job keeping you updated on the latest, not just on Shadow Sun, but on. I'm guessing he's probably going to write a few things after that.
Yes, indeed. Well, one of the things that I had a whole setting that we're like 150 pages written into Kharazim, which is like an Al-Qadim type Arabian Nights, Persia. I bring in a lot more than just Arabian stuff, Persian stuff. There's an Indonesian area. Indonesia has a huge, long history with Islam. That's really, really awesome. Tap into Northern India, places that don't normally get a lot of play in role-playing games. I think Arrows of Indra is the only Indian subcontinent role-playing game thing I've ever even heard of. And I've never heard of one for Indonesians.
What about Yun Suan or Yun Su, the pink and yellow?
Yun Suan is
it's India.
Southeast Asia, where it's like Malaysia, Thailand, Laos, Vietnam. Vietnam in medieval times, I believe, would be the right term. But yeah, that's more like Angkor Wat Buddhism type stuff, is my understanding. So anyway, so I've been working on that setting. I had all these things, but when you write stuff, it's you run into problems that are hard to even explain to people, because the settings have layers that all interact together in these complex ways, right? So like there's a religion, the religion intersects with all these different things. There's magic spells that are affecting all sorts of different variables within the setting. So only the game designer for a long time, even after release, really understands how this all works together. And so you get to a certain point where you're like, wait, these things aren't lining up. I have structural problems that I need to fix that are going to take me a long time to figure out and work out. And I was like, okay, I need to take a break from this. And I was like, I'm just going to do a little kind of revisionary work to Shadow Sun. And then that's when it just started opening up. Also, once you open the door, you start coming up with all these other things you want to do.
Hey, what does the new logo look like?
The logo is the same, but the covers are going to be new. You can show the cover. We've got a GM cover and a player cover. This is the GM cover. And the GM cover is a darker, sun's going down, it's about to be night, kind of bad things are happening to people. And then the player cover is more bright daytime. The heroes are having success. Things are going well. And So I paid to have these from John Hodgson. He's the guy who did the One Ring first edition. I fell in love with that art when I played the One Ring for the first time. It was fantastic, and so I was very happy to be able to have him do the covers.
Hey, lay out the quick start idea for them too. I don't want to throw all this stuff at you, but I want to get the most out of the time we have with you visiting.
Well, I have a quick start for a GM and for the player, and together it's like 150 pages, and it's like 50 monsters are in the GM quick start, plus an adventure, plus some encounter tables and stuff like that. And then the player quick start will probably be used by a lot of people in the same way that I believe the Shadow Dart quick start is being used right now, as a way of getting a zero cost of entry to new play. You can just send that to a new player and they can make a level 1 character with it, right? So it doesn't have the higher level magic spells. It doesn't have all the other extra stuff that would be in there. It only has a portion of the equipment, but it's the portion of the equipment you would be able to afford and use at first level. So you can get all that stuff, basic things like rations and grappling hooks and so on, and then you won't have all of the poisons and the traps and the alcohol. I've come up with a system that uses there's 6 elements in the game: earth, wind, fire, water, void, kind of like the dark night sky to them, and the depths of the ocean and stuff. There's a ocean of black silt instead of water, similar to the silt oceans in Dark Sun. And then the final element is life. So I've come up with a way that there's a 6-step process to create these alcohols. And depending on, like, if you want to distill it, it will give you this elemental effect. If you add certain things to, the longer that you boil it, it affects the fire amount that goes into this alcohol. So it creates this kind of unique alcohol system. I've always loved the alchemy system in Kingdom Come Deliverance, and that what kind of was some of the inspiration for me. But things like that won't be in the quick start, but it'll have all the basic stuff you need. And I'm going to launch those first to try to build up kind of awareness of the product and people interested in the Kickstarter. And then the Kickstarter itself will launch in August.
Hey, if you guys have questions, now's your chance. Throw them in the Hey Agile Monk. Throw them here in for Chubby in the chat, if you would.
There is no monk class, but I have some really cool monk type classes in Karazin. There is kind of a dervish type class that has kind of meditative rotation stuff, like a dervish in real life, not the like Magic the Gathering whirling dervish type that developed, but it has like a Sufi mysticism to it. And then there are Ghazi type, paladin type holy warrior classes, and there's a whole bunch of contemplative traditions and stuff. So if you rolled high on Dex and took one of those classes, you could be an agile monk.
Did you dip into what is it, 1001 Arabian Nights? I think is the
I've
text. Did you read any?
I tapped into a lot of the things that I love to get into are not what's already in the system, right? So Al-Qadim is fantastic, but it's really Arabian Peninsula centered, and it does not have. Persia is incredibly complex,
very different,
huge long history, and people know about Persia. But then there are regions like in Central Asia around the Oxus River that nobody, 99% of people have no idea that there's even anything to know, right? So I read up on things like that. I read up on things like, most people don't know this, but in Zoroastrianism, when you had somebody who died, they would build these towers, and you would take the body up to the top of the tower and leave it out there for birds to be able to eat it, but not vermin on the ground, because they had a distinction between those two types of ways of being. So they didn't bury people; they put them on these called sky burials, right? That's not in any role-playing game, as far as I know. So that kind of I look for things that are inspired by real history, that are just in parts of history people don't know about. Most people's conceptions of history come from Britain, France,
England.
Germany, Italy, and Spain. That's almost it. That's almost entirely it. What they know outside of that is very limited to like Arabian Nights, or like a few things that they know about China, or a few things that they know about India. It's very, very limited. And so you can tap into all kinds of historical stuff, and it seems like you're making up all these things your own. So you're just, Agile Monk knows about Zoroastrianism. Yeah, it's awesome. It's a great religion. It has tons of great ideas. I'm probably one of the few people who's seen the war banners in Acts 2, or I noticed it in Acts 1 even. They have the circle emblem with the wings, which comes from Zoroastrianism and Persia. And he used it. People are like, oh, look at this. He made up his own way of doing a military banner. Like, no, that like, people just don't know anything. They're ignorant. Yeah. Death Angel is not frozen. He is.
No, I'm not frozen.
That's a picture of his frozenness. But
yeah, he's up to all kinds of naughty deeds. See, he's
Yeah.
he's wandering around, getting into trouble.
Pac-Man machine that he bought his wife for her birthday, but it's in his room and he plays it all the time.
I'm trying to clean up some windows here.
Figure out how to do that.
I have like 200 windows open.
Oh, to answer Edgelord King, there are defiling sorcerers in Shadows. They were in the original too, but I have changed the rules and revised it to make it so that one of the things with all these things is you want to push people towards setting coherent alignment with their actions, right? So the idea is this is a horrible place where people do terrible things to each other.
Like
so the defiling sorcerer, if they fail a spellcasting check, they either take hit point damage themselves, or they touch someone who is their ally or a captive, and that person takes the hit point damage, right? So if you want sorcerers to be like, people are afraid of them, people don't want to be around them, they're dangerous, like that's how I'm aligning the mechanics of the rules. So it's not just like it's damaging the plants around. Like if you're around a sorcerer and they fail a spellcasting check, they could just touch you and you're out, so it adds a whole different level. That sorcerer is going to be wanting to take captives rather than kill people, not because they're kind-hearted. they're planning on doing all kinds of magic, and if they touch that captive, it'll just drain their life instead of their own. So I said Chris Moneymaker in the chat. I am going to be at his Dark Sun Con in October, and looking forward to that. It should be a great time.
Bring your dental tools.
Bring your dental tools.
Wait, what is that? What's that?
Before the show, that there's a Dark Con that is a African American dentist convention.
Mm-hmm.
So we hope none of the dentists show up thinking they're gonna.
We'll teach them to play.
Hey, well, we'll teach them how to play Dark Sun or Shadow Sun. The whole purpose of the revisions is to align, expand, make it so that it works better within the Shadow Dark chassis. Because the Shadow Dark design, when I wrote Shadow Sun originally, I only even had the quick start. I didn't have the full version of the book for like a whole month and a half after I launched Shadow Sun. So there were things that I just didn't understand. I hadn't played it. Now I've played dozens and dozens of sessions of Shadow. I know how these things work, and I can design the game better. whenever you write stuff, you know, after a few years, you've already figured out a better way of doing things. You look back on your own work and you're like, man, I wish I had written it this way. It's just a cost of entry, I guess.
Yeah, some of you watching were probably here in, I think, December, January. We were playing Shadow Rim, Chubby's game, and he was running that as GM for us on this channel. Had a lot of fun, and that's when we first started hearing the discussion that, or maybe it was before then even, that I'm not happy with the maps. I want to go back, and this is Chubby saying this. He wanted to redo the maps in Shadow Sun. But I will say, if it's anything like Shadow Rim, it's such an interesting combination of the chassis from Shadow Dark that most of us play and like. You know, play lots of other games too, but all the things that are fantastic about Shadow Dark are extrapolated into Shadow Rim, and now again, and even better, new and improved into Shadow Sun. And if you're just tuning in, so Chubby and I did a little video on that. I say a little video, it was probably an hour and a half or something yesterday. And I'll drop that tomorrow, which is an in-depth on Shadow Sun. So keep your eyes out for that one and watch for it. You get to hear him explain it in depth.
Well, I wish that you guys could have played your game tonight.
Yeah, we'll pick it up. We'll pick up Lamentations next week. Chubby's got to run. He was here for a little bit and said, yeah, I can come on for a few minutes. And then he's off to writing again. But the rest of us are going to hang on if you want to stay around for a little bit and talk about a couple of different things.
I can watch my daughter bomb the podcast.
Yeah. All right.
You have a live studio audience.
Sorry, guys.
No worries. All right. Well, you guys have fun. Thanks for listening to me ramble about Shadow Sun.
Good stuff. Looking forward to
it. Anytime, Chubby.
Chubby.
I think you're welcome on all our channels.
Yeah.
Talk to you guys later.
GM Force too. Monday nights. Maybe it'll be Shadow Sun.
And yes, Agile, I plan on indoctrinating her into the hobby as soon as she is willing.
There was some discussion in our chat today whether maybe Lamentations was the right game for a 3-year-old, 2-year-old.
She just turned 2 on Friday. Yep.
Yeah, for a 2-year-old. So maybe another year or two before she's ready for Lamentations, I think.
No, she's gonna start with Swords and Wizardry because I actually used it to teach my 7-year-old niece about a month and a half ago, and she's obsessed. So it works great. And my dogs are jerks.
Hey, and the rest of you guys, if you didn't notice, obviously I said Lordmatteus is out sick. Unfortunately, he'll be fine, but he's got the bug, and he said, man, I can't do it tonight. So that's why we're not starting the new Tower of the Stargazer game for Lamentations until next Monday now. But along the way, we needed some more players. Bacon comes and plays with us, and then he gets busy and has to drop out. We needed to replace another player, so we pulled Cam in. So welcome, Cam, to the channel. Cam, why don't you give us, your 2 minutes?
Tell it. Hey, Cam, give us your background. How did you get started in the hobby?
How about the high school band trip story? What about that one?
Turnabout's fair play, right?
Yeah, there you go.
I'll make it very brief. I started. I was inspired by seeing Dungeons and Dragons in E.T., the film from 1982, and I won't bore you with the details, but after a year or so of trying to find someone to play with, I eventually did. And so I started playing in 1983 with BX, quickly moving on to Advanced D&D, and then almost as quickly moving on to a lot of Tolkien-related stuff and homebrew things, and then spent, several decades in purely homebrew kinds of things. Well, I did get back into second edition a little bit, but played a bunch of different games, throughout the years, and had a bit of a break for some intense board gaming era, and last 5 years or so, I've been kind of dipping my toe back into role playing.
Well, that's cool, and you get to work with Jeff on Bad News Bards, and you guys do a really great show there, and. Frankly, I'm a little jealous. You get to talk to a lot of great guests and stuff.
Usually.
We just kept Chubby on and Dan. And,
it's crazy, Jeff, how you missed your show last night. It just
I don't know what happened.
How long was
Like,
the show last night? Did it get cut a little
it
short?
wasn't. There was no show last night.
No,
Mike.
there
It
was no
gone.
show.
Oh, there's nothing to see here. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. You were discussing that.
There are no droids.
There's nothing to see. Keep moving. Yeah. All right. Well, you live, you learn, right? About live streams, live. The word live and live streams. Yeah. Well, Cam, no, seriously, we're really happy to you joined us and looking forward to playing with you next week. What class did you settle on?
Well, I don't know. Dan here, who's been tormenting me in the Discord with
his
indecision.
He torments me too.
As of right now, I've got a fighter put together, so I'll probably stay with that. But if there's some need to do something else, I can always shift.
Yeah, we needed some muscle, so I'm glad you're going to be out there up front. And Dan, you're playing the new Tormentor class. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, no, I'm a dwarf.
A dwarf. Well,
Oh, you're a dwarf too?
Yeah, are you a dwarf?
Well,
sure.
I was going to be.
I mean, I can change.
No, it's all right. Yeah, I mean,
Jeff,
I'm sure
weren't you pushed into cleric? I tried to push you to cleric.
Well, I was going to go into cleric.
We
need that one healing spell.
But
We don't need no stinking healers.
It's the problem is, see, I'm thinking, okay, this is cool. I rolled 3d6 down the line, like Matt said, and I got a 12 and a 10 and a 10 and a 13 and an 11 and an 11. I'm thinking, oh, that 13, that's pretty good. I'm gonna be pretty kick ass. And then you guys are like, I got a 17 and I got a 14.
The
And
only
I'm like-
17 I rolled,
And I did 3d6 one time. I didn't mess around with reroll. I didn't do a fourth die, any of that stuff, which
Nope.
I'm not against it usually, but we talked about it. So I just did. But I got an 18 on intelligence, so I'm going to be the
my highest roll, Jeff, was my gold roll.
Oh, I haven't gotten to that yet.
Yeah.
I hadn't gotten that far, and then I'm like, I got a great name for him. I'm gonna call him Fodder McCannon.
Okay,
You said it was going to be a great name.
I appreciate it.
You promised, and then you gave us Fodder McCannon.
Fodder McCannon. Yeah.
Is he a
Well,
priest? Fodder McCannon?
It
It works.
Fodder.
It
Yeah.
works. Yeah. So who else played Lamentations before?
I have not.
I know there's tentacles,
Yes, you either. Yeah, I've only played once,
and I know there's boobies in a lot of the books, but that's all I know.
well, that's why I wanted to play. But Matt was running it, and it was the one with the witches and the boobies and the body horror, where they're like morphing into stuff. I don't know. You've probably seen it before. It's kind of well known for the body horror art. Is pretty gruesome. I don't remember what it's called. Something about witches. Witches be here, or witches tit, or something. I don't know what it's called. But it was fun. It was a lot of fun. And it was my first time, and I played with Mike Necrophant and almost something. I forget what his handle is. I think he's a friend of Matt's and knows those guys. Anyway, he was playing in there, and I forgot, maybe Bacon was in it or something. But yeah, I was a priest, a cleric, and I wound up getting pushed to the front of the group like some sort of leader. And I'm like, well, this is interesting because I don't know the game, but it didn't matter. It felt just like OSE or D&D or.
Well, it's a BX game, so
Exactly. Yeah. So it's really, really comfortable. I think everybody will like that part of it. I will say we all discovered the rule book is a little tricky. It's maybe not quite as upfront and clear cut to find what you're looking for.
You got to bounce around a bit, right?
There you go. Alad 857. Thank you very much. No salvation for witches. That was it.
Even my D10 roll, right? When I was like, okay, when I finally figured out what a dwarf is supposed to roll for their hit points, I hit a 5. I literally hit average. I'm like the most average dwarf.
Well, good
ever.
news. You actually minimum at 6, I think, for a dwarf.
I know. I know. Thank God. But I didn't get above a 6 though. I got a 5, so I guess I'm a 6.
Well,
But,
it's a level 1 BX clone. I don't expect to survive. So
yeah, I'm like I said, that's why I named him Fodder McCannon.
I didn't even name my guy. If he lives through the adventure, maybe I'll name him.
Yeah, we didn't talk about rolling up backups, but that may not be a bad idea since we have another week, is to throw out another, just have a reserve character waiting. And I don't know that Vance had chosen a character yet. He didn't get to it, or if he did, was probably working on it this morning and then found out we weren't having a game.
I've been looking into which Hyperborea adventure I'm going to run on my newly available Wednesday nights since my OSE game got deleted. The server just disappeared.
What?
I was in an OSE game on Wednesday nights, doing the Shadow of Tower Silveraxe, and on Easter the DM was like, "Well, sorry guys, game's over. I got moved to nights." He's a forklift operator for a warehouse, so then he just deleted the whole Discord. So the joys of internet games.
Yeah.
So Jeff, how are your Wednesdays?
Well, I have Babylon 5 retrospective normally at 11 p.m. Eastern time. Although what we're doing 10 p.m. Cam this week. We're doing a double episode because it is a part 1, part 2. What's the names of the episodes?
War Without End.
Okay, so
1 and 2.
1 and 2. Yeah, I know War Without End 2 is on the next DVD. So I think it's the last. They put 4 episodes on each DVD, and the part 1 is on is the 4th episode, and part 2 is the first episode of the next one. So, but that's on our buddy Sci-Fi Snobs channel, who Cam is also a co-host for. He likes that sidecar seat. I don't know.
I enjoy being able to blather without any responsibility.
Yeah.
So, Dan, what are you thinking about replacing on Wednesday nights, and where can people email you if they want to try to get into the campaign? What are you going to be playing?
I'm thinking of playing Hyperborea because I love Hyperborea, and I'm probably going to run the Anthropophagy of Zambala because that's a cool module. And I hang out on chat on people's live streams. I don't have a channel because I'm a bum. So,
well, I mean, we're all bums, aren't we?
Yeah, but like you guys at least have
in.
channels. I'm just like a random dude from chat that was like, "Hey Jeff, can I play games with you?" And you're like, "Sure."
Yeah.
Sometimes that works out.
That's how it works, man.
Have channels. So
one day.
I really do want to try. Are we doing Hyperborea after?
Well, we're talking about that, but if he does it there, then
I'm more than happy to run it after Tower of the Stargazer because I think Matt said Tower of the Stargazer is only going to be like 2, maybe 3 sessions.
Yeah.
So, but I would run for Monday nights. I'll run Rats in the Walls because it's a good adventure and it's also shorter. I think we could do it in like 3 sessions, maybe.
Yeah.
And then if that particular book has like 3 different adventures in it, so if you guys wanted more Hyperborea, we could keep going with Hyperborea, or we could, switch someone else or someone run something or whatever. But the Zambala adventure would take more, so because it goes from level 1 to 3.
Yeah. I mean, like with the one that I was running, you guys got down to what, like the 3rd or 4th level in the dungeon, and there was still another.
Yeah.
And they were, you could have speed run it, I suppose, but I think it worked out quite appropriate, and I gotta get that set up.
Yeah, I had fun.
We'll see, Chris. Hey, Chris. But yeah, I think we got Chris coming on Saturday. We're gonna do a special stream. So we're gonna be talking about his con, and he's gonna have one of his vendors on with us. So it's just gonna be it won't be a Bad News Bards episode. It'll just, I have an idea of the name for it that I want to talk over with Chris on it. Trying to.
Jeff, you have achieved a Joe the Lawyer level of slouch right now.
Well, so I can do this, but for some reason, this chair is.
Oh, blame it on the chair.
Well, yeah. Here. Okay.
Hey, anybody else have any stuff they got this week they want to brag about?
My daughter turned 2 and she's cool.
But did she get any cool games in the mail?
No.
Tucked in with birthday cards.
No.
Next year.
She got a bunch of aerial stuff.
Like B-29 bombers, aerial stuff, or
Nope. Red-headed aerial.
Oh, That was a mermaid, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
My daughter's 35, 34 now, but I remember when, she was into that first time it came around. Anybody know Gothridge Manor? I know, I would guess.
Yeah, I know him.
Mm-hmm.
A couple of you know. It's Tim Shorts.
Yeah.
Tim was, Tim's always been, pretty big. He doesn't really promote himself, but he knows a lot of people and has played with a lot of people. And in fact, he used to run this Monday night game. And at one point he had to do something. So I just started running it through my channel, and it's just never changed. But he's been busy with work. I don't think he's been playing a lot lately, or if he is, he's been laying low.
Is he doing something with Mondays or not Monday? With Flint?
They were talking about it. He does a lot of work. Yeah, Tim Shorts, Agile. He does a lot of work with Flint Fireforge, Paul Turner, and
They're
they
doing
collaborate on a lot of editing and layout together because he's very supportive of the friends and the people he knows. He's always been great to me and was very welcoming. But he has a great Patreon too. And I don't know if everybody likes this kind of stuff, but I went out to my mail today and I had a thing in the mail there, a little piece you can see. And tucked inside is just a simple card, Demon of Porter's Crown by Tim Shorts for Shadow Dark. You can see there. And all it is, simple little adventure, on cardstock.
Oh, cool.
Printed out. And Chubby and I were talking about this when I first came on, but I love this kind of stuff. I mean, I love these kind of things. And, you have the polished WotC TSR, Pathfinder, the Paizo stuff, those big colorful books, and they're expensive and they're great and they're exciting too. But something brings me back from somebody who started playing in like 1978 as a kid. And just, whenever you get your hands on a little bit of something, it was always had that little bit of amateur quality to it, right? Like it was thrown, it's not the best art. It doesn't have the polish and the panache that, that a lot of the corporate stuff does. But I love that kind of stuff. Last year at North Texas, if you know who Gabor Lux is, as a writer, a D&D guy out of Hungary, but he publishes a lot of games in English.
I just sent him lots of money.
Did you really?
Sure did. Just bought a bunch of stuff.
He puts out that series. I can't remember what it's called, but I have
Echoes of Formalhaut.
Thank you. Echoes of Formalhaut. So that's where I met the guy that I play Black Sword Hack with. He was looking at stuff at this table, and I'm over there looking at Echoes of Formalhaut, and I'm like, oh, I'll get one more. They're like $8. I gotta keep getting them. But same thing, just printed with a color thing, on the wrapper, and the inside might be 8 pages or something. But great.
He has not yet resumed U.S. shipping yet, but it turns out if you catch him on Discord and be like, hey, what if I do a big order? He'll go down to FedEx for you.
Yeah. So some of you been around a while or something. I don't mention much, but if you've been around circles and stuff, and I wasn't into the hobby yet, or wasn't back into the hobby yet, I should say, during the Google Plus days. But I guess, guys like Chubby and Joe and Eric and Tim, it was very big. Did any of y'all do that? Google Plus, early 2000s?
I was on Google Plus, but everybody just argued all the time, so I didn't really partake in Google Plus.
Yeah, I was not into the hobby. The other thing I got was I went to wife and I went and got some Vietnamese a couple hours ago before the show, and went to the comic book store next door, and this is a big thick mother.
Nice.
Yeah.
And the really funny thing about this is, I think I did a post about it a few weeks ago. I was at the used bookstore here locally, and I found horror stories by Rudyard Kipling, all, of course, in colonial India and everything else. And there's all kinds of cool myths and legends and magic and all kinds of great stuff. The very first story in here is Mark of the Beast. And I'm like, I know that name, inspired by Rudyard Kipling's short story. I'm like, okay. So we just took that story and put a Conan spin on it. Yeah. Which is great. I love to do that stuff. And then I got a couple of more Savage Swords, the individual comics, which these are some big, thick mothers, by the way. So
that's cool.
Which puts me in a frame of mind for Hyperborea.
Yeah.
I know that's Clark Ashton Smith, but there's definitely some Howard Conan vibes in there as well. Which, by the way, that story, Demon of Porter's Crown by Tim, you go into a little town and it's got like an infestation of funky baboons, which sounds really stupid, but that is actually from a story too. I think it's a Conan story or something with the baboons. I don't remember. Could be Clark Ashton Smith, but guy, this stuff all starts running together after a while into one big, wonderful fantasy sword and sorcery mishmash of inspiration. But anybody else buy anything? Anything you wanted to show off?
I mean, I got
Recent acquisitions.
I got my
Uh,
deck of mini insults that I'm not sure how many of these I could actually show on stream.
I don't know that we even need any help with that at our table.
Yeah, well, probably not, but they are kind of.
It did.
You know.
So I don't know if you guys play Dragonbane at all, but
So long off, good gamer. Thank you.
I do.
Bye.
I mean,
the Tales of the Bald Kickstarter like late last week, so that showed up. Haven't even cracked it yet, but
I mean,
bunch of Dragonbane fun times, including Duck People.
I haven't played Dragonbane yet. I see someone
fun.
in the village is missing its idiot. Yeah, I've heard that one before.
I have too, but I thought it was cute. So
yeah, Ed Lord King said Hyperborea is equally influenced by Howard Smith Lovecraft. Right? I think they were. That was the place they were all collaborating in their friendly letters back and forth and writing in each other's, expanding each other's ideas and settings.
I did pick up something else when I got that. I don't know did I show you that? I don't think I did.
Dan, you said that was for Dragonbane. Is that a third party?
Yeah, it's a third party. This is Dundergar. He's done a few Kickstarters, but he's got some pretty cool adventures. There's my
I haven't played Dragonbane, but I hear good things.
I ran I ran part of a campaign for locals here at the end of last year. It's pretty good system, I think.
Yeah, it's classless. It's D20 roll under. It's based on an old game from Sweden from like the late 70s, early 80s called like Draconer or a Demoner or some damn thing. But it's entirely skill based. So every time you use a skill and you roll either a 1, which is a dragon, which is a critical success, or a 20, you mark it, and then at the end of each session, any skill that you have a mark on, plus you can get a few others, you just roll D20. If you roll over your current score, that skill goes up. So you're like advancing every session, potentially, assuming you roll well. But since it's level-less, it's fun.
It doesn't have classes, but they have professions, right?
Yes,
correct. It's kind of, and there's only I think there's one element to the profession, basically.
Yeah.
It's very, it's what skills you have a little bit of a limit on which skills you can take, and that's about it. But yeah, it's not bad, and they are putting out some new material that should be coming out soon for it.
Yeah, I'm waiting from 2 Kickstarters.
The Magic one and the couple of campaign ones, right?
Yep, the Magic one, and there's a city expansion, and then there's also the name's escaping me. Trudvang. So and Free League puts out good stuff.
I'm going to save that for the next con, I think. And somebody I was talking with, maybe it was Jeff or maybe it was Chubby or something. I don't remember who it was. But the idea of, going to a con, like I go to North Texas because it's close to us for now. But I don't want to play Shadow Dark while I'm there because I play Shadow Dark around the clock all year. Like I want to go play some of these other games, Swords and Wizardry, or last year DCC. Try some new things, or some that aren't as popular that you don't know the name of, and just try something off the wall and see what you can learn and pull out of that. There's a lot of value in that.
So I picked up this recently too.
Hey,
I've heard of that.
I've never.
That's one I've never played either, Jeff. I don't know.
Me neither. I just took the shrink wrap off of it.
Maybe we'll get somebody to run some Call of Cthulhu for us.
And I did buy an adventure. I bought one adventure. Well, actually, it's got a couple of adventures in it, but I got this one here. I figured this one looked interesting.
I like the dark. I know you were saying the other day you like the 1920s, Roaring 20s stuff, or what whatever.
Or the Victorian era, yeah, the 20s and the
era. Yeah. I like the Dark Age one, Averoin, which is more at the Clark Ashton Smith.
This one I think is set in the 20s, and I think it's got an Egyptian bent to it. Well, actually, there's three different. It looks like there's 3 different things, and each one is like a one shot. I think is the way it's described. So I've never played it. I've never run it. I think it would be interesting to try.
Have any of you ever played On Guard?
No.
I've heard a lot of people talking about it lately.
Yeah, I saw it on not Dungeon Delver, maybe it was Shadow and Sun. Somebody I was listening to over the weekend, and you were popping on there, Jeff. After I was leaving, I'm oh, Jeff's here. I'll stay a few minutes more in the chat. But we're talking about On Guard and how you play basically playing this Three Musketeers swashbuckling Don Juan type of European duelist character who's running around having sordid love affairs and so forth. And I was like, that could be kind of cool. And then it reminded me of that news story last week about them finding D'Artagnan, they think, the real D'Artagnan, and where he's buried in Maastricht in the Low Countries. I don't know if y'all saw that news story or not, but they're doing the DNA testing now to find out if it's really him. I'm thinking, that's pretty damn cool, finding one of the Musketeers after all this time. He was buried in a church. I guess he got hit by a cannonball or something. I don't know.
Well, that's a bad way to go.
During a siege, yeah.
Cannonballs are a lot smaller than most people think they are.
Well, it depends on what.
Depends on the cannon.
The poundage of the cannon.
Yeah.
Well, I'm talking about
not so much. 3 pounders, sure.
Yeah, I'm talking about the ones from the. Well, they in St. Augustine they have cannonballs, and when I was a kid, first of all, if you grew up in Florida and you're in elementary school, and it's a rite of passage to go to St. Augustine on a field trip. And back then, the Rangers would actually take a cannonball and bang it against the walls when they were explaining coquina. I'm guessing they probably don't do that anymore. But this was the 80s, and they did. They were trying to show how coquina just is one of the reasons why the fort still stands, because of its construction. But the thing is, the cannonballs are only about yay big. They're not, they're maybe softball size.
Is it what's called, quote, a star fort construction where it has the angular points on the edges?
Yeah, and I mean, they at the time that I went, the first time that I went as a kid, everything was totally empty. Now, my wife and I we've been, and they started doing like recreations, like with a barracks. This is what the barracks would have looked like and stuff like that. So they've kind of refreshed it to keep it up, to give you kind of a perspective of what it was what life was like during that era. But I mean, the castle, Castillo de San was it Castillo de San Marcos? I think it is. Was it's the oldest. It's the oldest European structure in North America. So built in the 1600s.
I'll get there one day. I'm pretty sure my wife has been there, growing up in Florida for several years.
Yeah.
In the 70s.
Well, there were 5 flags that flew over. That's one of the things that they teach you. 5 flags have flown over Florida.
You're thinking of 6 flags.
Well, they're
Theme park.
the French, the Spanish, the English, the American, and the Confederacy.
Bangladesh.
What?
I'm just screwing with you.
And of course, the U.S. flag again later on. Once the Civil War was over.
You might be counting the Confederacy as one of the flags, and
they are. They do. The Confederate States of America. They can, because that flag did. But that fort survived. That long. That it had that many different things. But it's kind of fascinating. So I would be interested in maybe playing one of these historical era kind of games once, or to see how they play out.
Yeah, Agile was saying that in the chat that game goes back to 1975. Is that right, Agile Monk? On Guard is a 70s game. I didn't know it'd been around that long. I've never really looked at the rules, but might check it out just for a palate cleanser, something to switch from all that.
Yeah, a lead 857. Yeah, that's the way. That was my thinking. And then when I saw what a real cannonball, and I was like, because they let you hold a cannonball, and it's like, so, but
Well, you could probably drive over to the western part of Tennessee around Shiloh and dig around there and still find plenty of musket balls and cannonballs and bones and all kinds of stuff.
I don't have to go that far.
Yeah, you probably don't have to go that far. True.
I'm gonna say, we've got the birthplace of Sequoia right down, literally 5 minutes down the street from my house.
Yeah.
Oh,
Bye,
we lost
Cam.
Cam.
Oh, it's a shame we didn't even notice. That's not good. The new guy, and we didn't even notice he was gone.
Oh, he probably.
Nope, he's back now.
That's just sad. Hey, Cam.
Heyo,
We stopped until we knew you were back safely into the chat.
appreciate it.
Everything.
I just saw that I got bigger, and I was like, "Oh, he's gone."
You were excited for a second.
I was boring him with my, history lesson.
Well, look, we don't have to keep this long at all. I apologize to everybody that it fell through, but when we do,
We'll play next week.
a last minute problem, I like to at least come on and still talk to everybody about something and spend some time with you guys. Just because I really like this, for whatever my 2 cents, I like this Monday night, 7 p.m. Central Time slot. There's not a lot of other competitive chats going on, and live streams. So it's a good space, and I don't.
It's a breath of fresh air after a crazy weekend.
We're full of breath.
Literally, in some cases.
By it's a free slot. Do you mean there's no 10-car stream at this point in time?
There's no. Yeah, it's one of the rare hours that Eric's not streaming something, and
Poor Jeff.
I know.
The other streams you enjoy are not doing anything on Monday night, but.
I was like, Sunday night, nobody's doing anything Sunday night at that time. And so I'm like, okay, that's when we decided. And that worked out with Cam's schedule and all that. And then, Joe the Lawyer and 10-Car and Joe Block, they decided that every other week they're going to do one.
Yeah, that's interesting. In the chat, Agile saying that On Guard I didn't realize it was Game Designers Workshop back in 70, but they're on like a 4th edition now. Very interesting. Now I'm going to have to go look into that game. So
isn't that one just you basically running around drinking a lot of wine? And
it's going to be Wars of Religion in France. So you're chasing Huguenot, around. Unless you're on the Huguenot side, and you're somewhere around the big siege at Rochelle. Not New Rochelle. New Rochelle is where Dick Van Dyke lived on the Dick Van Dyke Show. Rochelle is the city in France.
Edgelord, if you DM me, I think we're friends on Discord. DM me and I'll explain it. It was, yeah.
Doesn't exist.
No, there was no stream.
Hey, if anybody is new here, by the way, like the channel, please, and subscribe. If you haven't been here before, I can't imagine there's any newbies here because I see every name and I know everybody. I can never say his name. Wibstopson.
Just call him Wibs.
Wibsy. Yeah, Dan Tesh is here. I've seen him a lot.
I'm a guy from chat.
I see my Nightbot is my Nightbot.
Raise your hand if you're just a random guy from chat who wound up playing these games and doing a channel thing. Well, if you're just playing these games, hand back up. So yeah, that's how we meet people is in the chats. So anyway, appreciate you guys checking in on Monday night. Sorry we didn't play Lamentations, but hang on one more week. Hopefully Lordmatteus will make a comeback from the plague or whatever he's dealing with. And Monday night, the 13th, I'll do the YouTube reminder for it so you guys can hit the little notify me button and watch us next Monday night. We're all excited too because we are an inexperienced Lamentations group.
Never played it, and
I've got one whole game, so that's not a lot. So anyway, it should be a lot of fun, and I think Tower of the Stargazers is kind of like the first thing Raggy published, if I'm not mistaken. James Raggy published. I think it's like the intro module or adventure into the game, so that'll be exciting. Anyway, anything in the chat we need to wind up here? Edgelord King, Chthonic Musings, Michael. I seem to remember a musketeer flavored tavern brawl game with cardboard counter that I thought was called On Guard. That might be one of the additions. Michael Agile said below there's several editions. I think they're on a 4th edition now of that game. So worth checking out. Let me take a look at. I could do a historical thing too. Sounds kind of fun. 30 Years War or something.
Yeah, maybe that'd be kind of interesting. So I'm up for it. I'm up for anything, man. I'm just happy to be gaming. I don't care what system it is.
Me too.
You
And
know?
thanks for everybody for joining us on a Monday night. Let's see, Urban Zom 10. Here, I'll be the name you don't recognize here. Just dropped in for the first time. Well, welcome, and so sorry we're not playing Lamentations, which you thought you were clicking on. But if you heard us at the beginning, yeah, the GM got sick, and he's the one with all the Lamentations experience. We're just the players waiting to get murdered.
I mean, I got my dice ready and everything.
Yeah, so stick around, Urban Zom. Come back and watch the show. Feel free to jump in and ask questions. This is a pretty cool little community, like a lot of YouTube channel chats where everybody kind of knows everybody, but everybody's welcome too. So.
At least half of us in here have a channel, right?
Hey, I'm working on it.
Hey, Dan,
yeah.
You've seen my background. My house is not quiet. It's not conducive to recording.
I've got to add my AdSense account so I can actually take super chats, so I can feed my children and put them through college. I'm kidding. They're in their 30s.
Your grandchildren.
Yeah. Well,
I
haven't arrived there yet. But anyway, I'm kidding. But I would like to take super chats if we did that. But
yeah, me too.
I don't know how to do that. The AdSense. I'll figure it out.
Hopefully, I can get some more subs. I'm working on it.
Yeah, it's a steady game, right?
I don't know if I've scared anybody off from. Never mind. Nothing happened yesterday.
Well, I'm just worried YouTube, the algorithm's going to figure out that we're just paying Dan a few shekels on the side, and he goes in and creates a new account, and then keeps following us, and then a new account keeps following us.
Oh, speaking of buying things, I did buy one cool thing. Hang on, give me 1 sec before you sign it off.
I like your bookcases there.
I bought old geezer-sized dice.
Total Recall guy. That's good, Edgelord. Hey, Robert, how are you, man?
They're huge.
And what are these, Dan?
These are like 25 millimeter dice. They're huge.
I have a pair.
They're awesome.
For men with big fingers and knuckles.
I can see them from so far away.
I know for us people with bad vision.
All the dice.
Well, so when I'm playing with my niece, she really likes to roll like really far. So
maybe she will do craps. You have to take her to the casino when she gets older.
Yeah,
I'm not really a casino guy. I do a lot of casino finance, so I know how much money they make. So I'll never gamble.
You ever yell? Yeah, there's a reason that big city is built out there, where Jeff lived for a couple of years out in the middle of that desert, that crappy desert, right? They were making money.
This is.
Are those the Chessex? Are those the Chessex megahedrals?
Yeah, these are. Let me see here.
Those are 18. Mine are 25. My dice are bigger than your dice.
Ooh.
Size matters.
Well, now if we're gonna compare now,
that's the lead-in for Lamentations.
I mean, I got these.
Those are pretty big.
Yeah, those are my D20s. They're like the what do you call them?
Testicles.
No, the balls, the little.
I hope you're not rolling those on the table.
These? No, yeah, I'll roll those on the table. Why not? But these are too big to actually fit into my thing.
Yeah.
They won't fit in my. They just sit there and stop.
Whatever does it for you.
I just like my old man dice. All right.
Yeah. I mean, this I think will make it. Yeah, that one will make it. So.
Agile says, thought I'd better give some love to this channel too. If you mean this channel, thank you, Agile. You're welcome anytime. Hell, we probably need to have you on the show and talk about Zendria some and show off those maps that we've all been talking about and bragging about here recently. Zendria was Agile's, right?
Oh yeah. Yep.
I know Rob Conley has his thing coming out too, but I can't remember the name of his. It was way too long. I know that. Sorry.
He and Michael. And it looks really, really awesome.
Yeah, I watched the reveal on Tankar's Tavern, and it was very, very cool. We'll talk to you later, Agile Monk, about that offline. That might be a fun show to do, and happy to get you all the publicity you can get for that Kickstarter. Robert Stanton, you're just getting here at the end, buddy. Lordmatteus was sick this morning, so we had to pull the plug on starting Lamentations tonight. We had Chubby Funster on earlier. So if you're, watching this, you may want to go back and rewatch his part of the show. He's talking about Shadow Sun, and his Kickstarter for this massive revision of Shadow Sun should be hitting midsummer, I think July, maybe August.
He said August.
Yeah,
It's a present to me because my birthday is August 17th.
It'll probably be when I'm in Huntsville. That's probably when he's going to do it. That's my luck. Is it'll kick off when I'm going. I'm in Huntsville Wednesday through Monday. Like it's only a 3-hour drive from me, but there's a ham radio thing over there. There's a con for ham radio.
Do they not have like internet or something so you can't?
Not in the
back
state
it on
park.
your phone?
Mm-mm.
Really?
Mm-mm.
Hmm.
No. I wish they would. Be nice if they got it. I could
Okay.
use my phone, but you're up a mountain, so.
Well, I'll be damned.
I hope to be up a mountain. Huntsville,
Yes,
Alabama.
Huntsville, Alabama. Yeah, I go to Huntsville, Alabama every August.
Also, if I figure out how to make clips on YouTube, I'm going to make a clip of Mike saying that Mike was sick, so he had to pull the plug and just trim it right there.
Matt was sick.
Matt
Sorry,
was sick.
Matt. Sorry.
I mean, Mike is sick too.
I'm old. Yeah.
And then just hear you have the little beep,
Yep. There you go.
beep, and then a beep.
That can be the intro video for the Lamentations.
And Gary's just waiting in the wings. He'll take over the whole enterprise. He'll take over Second Watch. It'll turn into a guitar show. He'll be on there playing his guitar.
Yeah.
What happened to the old Second Watch? Well, Matt died, and it all went downhill.
Yeah, it was a shame. Rest in peace. And
It was fun while it lasted. Well, let's call it there. You guys good? Cam,
I'm good.
Are you awake?
I am listening intently.
Yeah.
Wednesday night, check us out on Sci-Fi Snobs channel at 10 o'clock special time, 10 p.m. Eastern. We'll be talking about a double episode, so it's going to be
One of the best episodes of the entire show.
Is it? Okay,
Yep.
I have not watched it yet. Although I saw that Snob was trying to do spoilers in the our little chat there.
He's dim that way.
I already knew that what he posted, but I tried to forget it. He just brings back memory.
Is
And
this
then,
gonna be about your new Traveler campaign, Jeff, that you're running?
What? No, have I did what about my Traveler thing?
The new show is going to be about your new Traveler campaign that you've been telling us.
The new show. Oh no, that's gonna be. I'm doing a thing with Chris Moneymaker from that's doing the DarkCon. That's the thing that's on Saturday. That's a special, like, we'll probably do. That's not going to be a regular event. It's going to be whenever he's got somebody that he wants to get on to talk about the con to kind of help promote it. We'll probably get Chubby on there at some point and stuff like that. So
yeah, if you guys weren't listening earlier, this is that con Chris Moneymaker is doing. Been talking to Jeff a lot about in Knoxville, Tennessee in October.
Yeah.
And it's all going to be just Dark Sun stuff, Dark Sun games. But now Chubby Funster is going to go as well with his Shadow Sun and do some of that. So I don't know. Maybe they'll find a,
I'll go up there. Yeah, like I said, I'm helping
I'm
them
going to
out.
be living over there by then. I'll be an hour and a half away, so I'll go to that.
Yeah. And I have played. Here's my character sheet from when I've been in a real game with Chris. I've been to his house. Here's my character sheet. I mean, he made the character sheet.
Looks like you spilled your tea on it.
No, he this thing is like reflective. It's like, I'm like, really, dude? He goes all out. He's he can do some artwork and stuff like that and all kinds of stuff. So
Aled857 says he's from, I think, Huntsville, Alabama, if I'm reading that right. Aled, are you still in the same area?
You still out there?
Around Huntsville?
There's a neat little game shop there that I've been to. That is, it's like 2 stories. Like they have a gaming area upstairs, and it's actually pretty decent. It's not too bad. I've been to a couple of the game stores in Huntsville. When you're over there, I keep on threatening to run Ham Overfest for the Ham Fest. I always thought that would be funny. Get a bunch of ham radio operators playing a tabletop game. So
It's hard
I know.
enough. Hard enough through Discord. I'm not sure that would work on Hammer. I guess it would.
No. There's a bunch of us all up there at Monte Sano State Park.
I believe you.
I mean, like the place is full. Like you can't get reservations for that time now.
No, I know it's a big hobby and it has been for decades. Decades.
Well, all the ham radio YouTubers, or as I call them, ham tubers, we kind of made that place really popular, and so now it sells out every year. And the price has been going up because they're using that. Even though it's a state park, they have a software that kind of manages it, and I think it does demand pricing adjustments, and so it's a peak weekend whenever that weekend is. So, but we always rented a cabin. They've got like 15, 16 cabins up there that were built in the 20s and 30s by the CCC before World War II.
They had to do something.
Yeah, they just remodeled them though, and the remodels. They look pretty nice, but still no internet. So I wish they would get it. They do have cable, but no internet. Maybe someday. Be nice. Make live streaming easier. A lot of the guys bring Starlinks, so. But at any rate, and we will have. I got that show on. We're going to be doing the thing on Saturday. Saturday night, and then Cam and I will be back on next Sunday night, and we got a guest coming on for that, so we've got some products. At any rate,
well, let's wrap it up here. You guys good?
I'm good.
We're good. All right, we're gonna get on to other things. Cam, yeah, sorry, bud. Sorry, we're not playing on your first night out of the gate, but we'll be at it Monday. All right. Thanks, everybody, for stopping by. I appreciate it. Hey, Flint. Sorry, man.
Hey, Flint.
Now I got to explain.
Hi, Flint. Bye, Flint.
Every new friend that jumps in the chat is going to be another 15 minutes. Sorry, Flint. We were just saying Lordmatteus was sick this morning, so we didn't actually start the Lamentations campaign tonight. But maybe we could use another player. I might use some other muscle, but you probably just got home from work, so I don't know if you would make it. But anyway, if you're interested, let me know, Flint. So yeah, we'll start it up next Monday, and we had Chubby Funster here earlier, Flint, talking about Shadow Sun. So you probably want to go rewatch this for the first 30 minutes plus and see all of his updates and news about what's coming. And I'm going to drop a video tomorrow from an interview Chubby and I did yesterday, and it goes into depth, and he shows screen and maps and classes and all kinds of cool stuff with Shadow Sun that's coming. Fairly big expansion to his first effort. So anyway, y'all have a good night, and thanks for stopping by, Flint, as always, and thanks for the like, man. We'll see you guys next Monday. Appreciate it. Have a good week.
Yep, looking forward to it.
Everyone.
Maybe I'll get the character finished.